Hello and welcome back to my channel. Okay, another week's passed and more gaming news as we're all stuck indoors playing games. Right, so the first bit of news, GTA 6 reportedly early in development, may launch smaller and expand with regular updates. This seems to be the concurring and I think better thing now for games. A lot of people say no, they should be released complete. But games like this, as you know, I hate Grand Theft Auto, to be honest, I hate the games. But I can understand the logic behind not releasing the game fully, because games always develop, games always build, especially when they're multiplayer, especially got so much DLC. I'd rather a game just be honest like this, rather than say here's a complete game, now here's £30 DLC on top of that, and you're like, but I thought this game was complete, and they just start selling you DLC. That's bad to me. I'd rather a game just release and then slowly expand over time, so you can slowly get into the game and then slowly enjoy it, and it just gives a game more longevity. You look at games like that's how Fortnite work, PUBG, Sea of Thieves, State of Decay. There's a whole list of games, but they're just built on that. Overwatch, Bleeding Edge is going to be like lots of new games now coming out. Multiplayer, you build on them. You build on the worlds, they expand, expand. I hate games that are just either you get the campaign, that's it, game ends, or they just throw out your overpriced DLC. AKA Destiny. So they're looking there. So now we know that the GTA 6 is definitely being worked on. Most definitely will be a next gen title. It will not come out this gen. And they're going to slowly expand its universe, as they pretty much do with GTA 5. Well, we all know they continue expanding it, and just it keeps growing. And the game's still like in the top 5 most sold games. I do not get how that works. I do not get why people are still buying this game. Even like the game released, not this gen, but the previous gen, it released the 360 PS3 gen. I can't believe the game's just incredible. That's because they keep continuously adding to it. So the sequel will be reportedly moderate-sized game at launch and then be expanded through regular updates. I think that's great. You know, I play MMOs. I'm an MMO player. That's how all MMOs work, basically. You know, MMO releases complete. If the MMO release complete, I will be really upset. Basically, if I got into a game, pretty much played 100 hours on it, and then I reached its maximum, I would be really upset. Especially for an MMO, I'll be really bored and fed up. And these games are built on keeping you going. So yes, this is just one potential plan for the game, and it seems GTA 6 is still very early in development. It's unclear whether Rockstar will go through with this plan in the first place. Nor can we predict how GTA 6 might evolve if it comes into form. Well, looking at the previous games, it's very likely it will do. Even if they say it won't be like that, it will do, because that's how all their games are. And that's just the way of gaming. So there you go, we've got GTA 6 confirmed. Very likely, well, I can probably say confirmed for next gen, because it won't come out this gen. And I hope you let me know if you're excited about that. I don't like GTA games, as I said. They're just you get too many trolls, and it's the language and the nonsense you get involved with it, and it just gets boring, and it's just some of it can be paid to win. That's the problem with GTA. You can buy a lot of extras, and people do throw a lot of money at the game. I think that's what keeps it in the top 5 still. People still buying content for it, which I think still adds to its game sales, because you can buy the whole game with the content. And that's what I think a lot of people do, because I think it all turns out cheaper. But yes, so let me know what you think. Let's move on to the next subject. Okay, a new dual-screen Nintendo Switch console revealed by a firmware hacker. Basically, basically, because I don't know if you guys know, you can get into the firmware of a device and stuff, and you can find out all the code and stuff, and you can sort of work things out and translate things, and that's what they do. Basically, that's what they're doing. Hackers are doing. They found out previous things have come true, or DLC and things are coming out. This hacker found out that they've got in the works a dual-screen Nintendo Switch. By hacking them and finding that stuff, and he's revealed it. So, I mean, you can take this with a pinch of salt. It could be true. A lot of the stuff they do come out with does tend to be true, because they are basically hacking it and getting directly into the thing. Or he could just make up, and he could be a hacker, and he just nobody and says, "Hey, this is happening." But the bottom line is a dual screen Switch, Nintendo Switch. Do you think that'd be a good thing? Is that great? I mean, the good thing about this, why the Switch is selling like hotcakes, why it's outselling the PS4, and it will outsell totally the PS4. It's sold outside the Xbox. I mean, it's available. It's cheaper. It's available in more locations than Xbox, so it's a given. Plus, it's the reason why it outsells everything is because it's a portable, and portables generally always outsell consoles, especially in Asia because they all play portable devices because they always work, and basically they're always they're pushed too hard in Japan. Unfortunately, they are poor people. So they all game on the go. They all game while they commute. That usually goes for most of Asia. So it's like mobile gaming, and the Switch is massive, and so that's pretty much where Xbox is going with xCloud. That's how they're going to break into the Asia market because the consoles aren't sold there. But tell me what you think below. You think that'd be great? I mean, I suppose if there's two of you on a train, you can both have a controller each and look at the same screen. I guess that's good. I guess. But let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts below. Okay, this come out in a week. Should you upgrade your PS4 to a PS5? Basically, they're saying no. They think you should stick with a PS4. They've got some serious concerns about the PS5. I mean, they've said it's delayed to 2021 due to the coronavirus. It could be. Oh, they say will be. You shouldn't really say that because there's no definite. And Sony have said that will get it out this year. So that's probably a bit of false information there. But based on that, and based on things like the price and the lack of games and stuff, and that you have to buy a 4K TV. I don't know, it's a have to, because you didn't have to buy a 4K TV for the Xbox X, though it helps, but you didn't have to. You can still see improvements. Is it worth buying a PS5? For them, no. Basically, stick with PS4. And they go into. I mean, they just basically said there will be plenty of game exclusive PS5 around launch, but there's nothing being said other than Godfall, and that's just not worth buying a PS5 for. Let's be honest, everyone. Let's be honest, it's not worth buying a game for a timed exclusive. Yeah, it will be on the Xbox. But my reasons why you should buy a PS5 at launch. I was going to buy an Xbox and a PS5 at launch. I'm only going to buy an Xbox now because the Xbox looks like it's more powerful. It's going to match the PS5 in price, and it's got more games coming out at launch. Whereas Sony have announced no games other than Godfall, which looks like poo. They've delayed The Last of Us 2, which most likely will be a PS5 title, which I totally believe. I think they're misleading there. I think they've delayed The Last of Us 2 for a purpose, and that is to release on the PS5 because PS5 as it stands has no first-party titles, but they won't be exclusive. They will be across PS4 and PS5. That's what I believe. I don't think there'll be any first-party exclusives because they won't want to cut themselves short and do themselves out of lots and lots and lots and lots of money. And that's pretty much. There is no reason to buy because there's nothing that interests me in the PS5 as it stands. So I'll have to wait and see. I mean, I don't want to buy a weaker console for the same price as Xbox with no games, basically, with nothing to play on it other than last gen games, which their backwards compatibility is not even full backwards compatibility. So I sort of agree with these. Other than it's delayed until 2021, I see where they're coming from at that point. So let's move on to the next subject. So, CYBERPUNK 2077 Xbox bundle leaked by Amazon. A leak from Amazon Canada implies there may be a CYBERPUNK 2077 Xbox bundle featuring a special edition Xbox One X console and controller, and here it is. There we go. That's going to be the Xbox X controller. Special controller. And apparently there's a console en route as well. I did call this a while back, and I imagine there will be an Xbox Series X, because what it is Xbox has publishing rights to CYBERPUNK 2077, so they could possibly have exclusive content, but they most very likely will have, well, we know they've got a controller, and very much likely will have a console, including the Xbox Series X console, which will be amazeballs if that happens. I'll most definitely buy that if it launched at the same time with the Xbox. I will buy the special edition console, most definitely. That will be flying. That will be red hot off the shelves. That will be. I mean, Xbox and CD Projekt Red has been getting on for a long while, done sort of various deals. When we get all the Witcher games, so I think they're all on Game Pass, I believe. CYBERPUNK 27 was first announced in 2012. So far, the game is considered by many to be a technological marvel, showcase designs and advancements that some believe current gen consoles are ill-equipped to handle. However, that has not prevented CD Projekt Red from passing major development milestones to release the title for both current gen and next gen devices. In addition, those who purchase the game for Xbox One will be eligible for a free upgrade of the game for the next gen Xbox Series X. Woo! So yeah, how brilliant is that? So there we go. Buy the game now, and you can play it on the Xbox Series X, the upgraded version. And in addition, I'm looking forward to buying that. That looks cool. No Future. That's from Terminator, I believe. So there we go. Let's move on to the next bit of excellent news. So going back to Amazon, because Amazon seems to put their foot in it a lot. Sony says Amazon listings for PC versions of Days Gone, Gran Turismo not accurate. And the thing is, as I showed, Amazon does come out and show a lot of things. I mean, there's then told us about Horizon Zero Dawn going to PC before Sony did, and that turned out to be true. And also, it says there, Death Stranding and Horizon Zero Dawn rumours were true. But Sony is trying to say this isn't true. Now, are they trying to say this isn't true because it isn't true? They don't actually say it's not true. They just said not accurate. So that's sort of misleading itself. What's not accurate about it? Is it not going to PC at all, or is just the date it's going to PC not accurate? The date they gave. So that's, I think, not accurate is not given a definite. If it wasn't going to PC, they just said not true. But not accurate means that there is some truth behind it. That's how I'm seeing that. So yeah, Amazon showed those games going to PC before removing it. Because I think Sony said, "Can you remove it, please?" So that is very interesting. As I said, Sony could be doing this because you would do that. You wouldn't want to. I mean, Days Gone's not even a year old yet, so you wouldn't want to ruin any sales. They might probably, most likely, what they tend to do first is put it on PS Now. These games, like God of War and things like that, all went to PS Now before going to PC fully. So they might want to do that first for those games. But that's an interesting bit of news there. Let's move on to some other rumours, shall we? Rumour. Xbox Game Studios building reboots, gorgeous fantasy worlds and big sci-fi for future Xbox games. A noteworthy insider recently offered some tantalising teases about what could be on the horizon for Xbox Game Studios, and that was the old Jez Corden. As you see on the Rand show, go and check out Rand show. It's good and informative. Not as informative as good as mine, but it's okay. Xbox, well, it's got a list of the Xbox studios there. Look, Bosch, Microsoft's not a studio. I think it's Mojang. Okay. So Microsoft Xbox has enjoyed the power advantage over PlayStation for quite some time now, but in the world of gaming, that alone simply isn't enough. So they go on to say there's so there's going to be some. He goes on to say there's going to be some games coming to the Xbox Series X, which are yet to be revealed, which I'll cover it in my next piece. Reboots, gorgeous fantasy worlds, and big sci-fi for future. So he just goes on to say, talk more in depth on that and what PS offers and how Xbox is competing. So I really want to sort of just touch on here is the reboots, gorgeous fantasy worlds, and big sci-fi future. So what I'm sort of assuming here from what is said there, what's going to be shown, the reboots, right? So we know Fable's going to be reboots. I think that's one of the reboots out the window. Also, I've heard in talks that Forza's been rebooted. Yeah, the Forza series. Because what I'm going to go with is, because we've not been confirmed yet, Playground Games, who make Forza Horizon, and Turn 10, who make the Forza Motorsport. I think Forza Horizon Group, Playground Games, now Microsoft own them, is going to pass on their stuff onto Turn 10. So Turn 10 is solely going to focus on the Forza series now. So Playground Games won't be dealing with it anymore. That's what I believe. And instead, it's going to be completely Turn 10's project. In turn, I believe what's going to be happening is they're going to reboot it because they're going to make the games more of a merge between Horizon, Forza Horizon and Forza Motorsport by making sort of a open world racetrack sort of sim. I think that's what they're going to do. So that's how I think that's possibly a reboot as well. Also reboots, I have heard obviously about I can't even think of the game now. An old 360 title. Can't even think of it now. It's gone straight out of my head. Thinking of it before I'd done this, completely gone out of my head. Not Mirror's Edge. What was it? No, gone. I'm sure you guys can think of it, and sure you can throw in the comments below what it is. So that's what I think the reboots are going to be. Gorgeous Fantasy Worlds, well, we know Fable's going to be one, so it's interesting to see what other fantasy worlds they've got planned. I mean, Halo Infinite is a fantasy world, so that could also come under the sci-fi and big sci-fi. Halo Infinite, Gears is sci-fi. There was also fantasy worlds. So it's sort of blurred what they mean here. It could be games that are already out or we already know about, not necessarily new. But we're all going to find out, as I'll cover in the next bit, about that sort of later down the line. And by later down the line, I mean Xbox rumours. Microsoft is secretly planning 2 exclusive digital events. Now, we know they was doing a digital event anyway. Phil came out and said that, as E3 was cancelled due to the virus. Phil, the following day, said they're going to do a digital event. So E3 for them is still going ahead, which is brilliant. Because Sony said when they pulled out of E3 before coronavirus, they pulled out of E3 and said they don't need E3 anymore. It's fans they don't need E3 anymore. They're bigger than that. They're bigger than everything. They're bigger than God. Instead, what they're going to do is they're going to host hundreds of digital events. But they've held none so far. Whereas Xbox have held one, and they've just come out. Well, not officially come out, but they're going to hold 2 more. Now, what this is going to be is that they're going to have one event in May. It was going to be in April, but I think it's moved to early May, so we're looking between the 1st and the 5th of May. That's going to showcase all its hardware and stuff like that. So we're very likely it's going to be a full Xbox Series X reveal, and then we'll probably see the Lockhart possibly 2, which I'm really hoping about. It'd be interesting. They've said it here: Halo Infinite, Fable reboot, and Next Gen Forza Motorsports. A new IP from Japanese studio reportedly on the bill. There we go. So in May it's going to be a hardware showcase with maybe 1 or 2 games. In June, July, it's going to be a game showcase. So they're going to show off all their games that they've got yet to come this year and for the Xbox Series X. So no doubt we will see Halo gameplay, Gears Tactics running on Xbox Series X possibly, more from Everwild, more from Microsoft Flight Sim, more from Forza Motorsports, more from Fable reboot, more from Hellblade 2. We're just generally going to see a lot more, as well as a new Japanese studio reporting on what they're reporting on, a new game from them, which would be interesting. So that's what we've got to look forward to. So yeah, May and June. I've just said all this. The new Xbox claims Microsoft plans to host 2 events, one in May and the other in June. So I'm sort of ahead of what I'm reading here. The first will take the shape of a more traditional console reveal, according to the leak. So there we go. So that's some excellent stuff to look forward to in May and June. That's what's going to be showcased, I believe. I'm really looking forward to Halo. It's interesting to see him with his helmet off. So, I mean, is that the reboot? Is that the reboot they're talking of? Are they doing a reboot of Halo, which would be incredible if they did? Especially if you can take off his helmet and actually redesign your character, which would be interesting. Is that sort of that sort of more character creation process? And it'd be interesting if they follow it along the lines of Mass Effect kind of thing, which would be very interesting and very amazing. Yeah, it shouldn't stand like that. It's just silly. So there we go. Let's move on to the next subject. Okay, now this is all very interesting. Troy Baker wants fans to approach The Last of Us 2 with an open mind, says players will question everything. See, I am not sure on this bit of news if it's good or bad. KRAKEN said that looked great today. Joel, voice actor Troy Baker, has hinted that Last of Us Part 2 story may be divisive and has asked fans to approach the game with an open mind. So usually when people say like that, it means something's not good and they want you just to not complain about it, basically, which is interesting to see where they're taking The Last of Us 2, if that's the case. But I want to say that while he doesn't know if players will love or hate the story, they definitely will not be ambivalent about it. Okay. If we have done our job right, people will question everything. I want players to be able to challenge their own ideas about what this game is, what this world is, who the characters are, everything. I want people to go in open-minded to the story and allow Joel and Ellie to tell their story, not the story that people think that they want to be told. If people go in open-minded to this, I think they will have a completely different experience than if they go in closed-minded. So this is all very interesting. The thing is, the game's been delayed now indefinitely, and I strongly believe Sony is holding it back for PS5 launch because the PS5 launch has no games other than Godfall to compete with the launch games on the Xbox Series X, which will consist of, as we know so far, Halo, Microsoft Flight Sim, Forza, and Gears Tactics, and then they will possibly have, as I've shown, Cyberpunk exclusivity content possibly, but they would have the controller and stuff and the console. So I reckon Sony have cleverly, I have to give it to them. I would do it if I was in charge. If I had to make a business decision, I would say hold off Last of Us 2 for PS4, stick it on PS5 as a launch game, make it cross-gen so the PS4 people still get to experience it. Plus, then you've got the sales. The game can go across 2 generations of consoles rather than just releasing on PS5, which may only have a few consoles at launch, and you're just going to screw yourself over and the fan base. And nobody wants to be forced to buy a console, even though some people actually enjoy being forced to buy a console, which oddly enough. So he's put kind of a spanner in the works there, I think, to some people. Go in with an open mind. So there you go, people. If you're a big fan of The Last of Us 1, I wasn't. I thought it was very generic. The AI was awful, and there was some other issues with it. And I hate single-player games, especially ones that are just sort of led by cutscenes and story only, lack gameplay, which I found this did very much. And they've also removed the multiplayer from The Last of Us 2 as well. So they are strictly making it more story-based. So if you like the first one, be open-minded about the second. It's very likely to change the story and the sort of what's going on. Let's move on to the next subject, shall we? PS5. New report says to expect limited supply and high price. Ugh. Developers expect a price between $499 and $549. Now, the interesting thing here is Phil said he will match the Xbox 5, as I showed him in our previous video, Xbox 5 price. If it launches at $549, will they still match it, or will they make it cheaper? This is a massive dilemma for Sony, especially as they're the weaker console. We saw what happened to the Xbox releasing more expensive than the PS4 and being weaker. We can see what happens when something's more expensive and weaker. So will Sony want to do that? It'll be a complete flip of this generation. So Sony plans to produce far fewer PlayStation 5 launch units compared to PS4 due to an expected hit on demand caused by the console's high price. That's according to a new report by Bloomberg, which cites people familiar with PlayStation's launch plans. Sony has reported told assembly partners it will make between 5 and 6 million PS5 units in the fiscal year ending March 21st. So when the console launches in November through to March, 6 months, they're only going to make 7 million to 8 million units in 6 months. Compared to the 7.5 million for PS4 2013 launch. See, so this is where I say again that they're gonna, if they don't make the games cross-gen and they're limiting how many they're selling and how many they're making, their exclusives will not sell to many people. Thus, they will not make much profit. Thus, they will not counteract the loss on the console sales. So their games will be cross-gen. You can argue all day you want. No, they exclusive sell consoles. Are you people telling me if Last of Us 2 was cross-gen, you wouldn't buy it? You wouldn't buy a PlayStation 5 for Last of Us 2 because it's cross-gen? Is that what you're telling me? You're lying. That's not true, is it? You will buy a PS5 because, one, you like Sony, it's clear. 2, you like The Last of Us 2, so you will buy that console, even if it's cross-gen, for that game. Fact. I don't want people telling me, no, they're not going to buy a PS5 because it's cross-gen. You will all change your minds when it's announced. The platform holder is limiting initial production in part because it expects the PS5 specs to result in a higher price that weighs in demand, Bloomberg says. So yeah, they're saying it's going to be $499, $549 between that. So, which is good for Xbox because everyone was saying $400. even cheaper than that. But there's no chance. Unless Sony's going to take 100 to 150 loss on each console sold, which they did during the PS3 days, but that was because it was sold at 600, and then they had to drop the price to 300, which resulted in them making massive amounts of loss in revenue. I think they lost at the end, it sounded like 10 billion in profits for the PS3, while Xbox 360 made profits on their console because they just launched it at a reasonable price. Sony indicated in its lately report that PS5 price had yet to be determined and that it could react to Microsoft Xbox Series X price plans. So this is the funny thing, and Xbox Phil is doing the right thing. He said the opposite. He's holding out for Sony because there is no reason why he should announce the console price. He's already ahead. He's shown more games. He's shown his console. He's shown more power. There is no reason why he should show the price first, and he has come out and said he will match the PS5 price, and so he should. If I was Phil, I would absolutely hold on, if need be, to the week prior to launch, if need be, because to be honest, Sony are in trouble now. They're desperately, they're losing on power. The games, as I said, if they don't release The Last of Us 2 for PS5, the games are not going to be there. If they don't have the price point, then they're screwed, and that's why they're totally reliable on Xbox right now. Whereas Xbox are just taking it easy, and they could totally destroy PS5 by matching their price or going cheaper if they hold out to see what the PS5 price is first, and don't sort of. There's a game of chicken at the moment where they both are going at each other with the price, and it's who's going to swerve first, it's who's going to announce first. And I got a feeling it's going to be Sony. So this is very interesting. So yes. So there we go. So that's an interesting bit of news there. I'm sure that's affecting a lot of fans deeply at the moment. But let's move on to the next subject. So as you know, I like to at the end touch on some sort of tech for the Xbox Series X. And this week it's BCPACK. Xbox Series X texture compression BCPACK, reportedly better than the PS5's KRAKEN. So this is an interesting bit of news here. This is quite outdated actually. Sony unveiled the next-gen console PS5 specs and the deep dive architecture last week. While Mark Cerny talked mostly about PS5's custom SSD and the audio, he also mentioned a new texture compression technology that PS5 is using called KRAKEN. Well, it looks like Microsoft also has a new texture compression tech, BCPACK, for Xbox Series X. That's reportedly better than the PS5's KRAKEN. So let's go on. This is like a sort of thing that happened on Twitter. Gamers comparing Xbox Series X versus PS5 aren't factoring in Microsoft's dark horse, BCPACK. We don't have any real details yet, but it's possible that BCPACK will be stronger than the RDO BCX encoding plus KRAKEN compression. According to the industry professional Richard Guidrick, who worked for Valve and Ensemble Studios, Microsoft's dark horse, aka BCPACK for Xbox Series X, could even be more powerful than PS5's KRAKEN. He put out a series of tweets explaining how the texture compression works on consoles. So it's going to this. Can you talk about BCPACK more in public yet? Sony is getting a ton of good response from the gaming public about putting KRAKEN in hardware. You guys need to talk more about BCPACK. There we go. So he sort of had a dig at James for not promoting the Xbox Series X more. So James fired back. It's a new compression codecs specifically designed for game textures. They're almost always block compressed BC to begin with. We compress these textures even further, but for obvious reasons we didn't want to call it BC compress. BCC compress. Right, so Guidrick then asked James, who works graphics optimization R&D engine architecture at Microsoft, about when we can expect more details on Xbox Series X BC Compact. Hi, at the end of the day, what does it mean to have BCPACK for textures? Will a 4K texture be less demanding in MBs than a KRAKEN? Guidrick says, some back of the envelope figures. KRAKEN reduces the size of it. So now he goes into actually comparing the KRAKEN with the Xbox's architecture. KRAKEN reduces the size of complex non-RDO encoded BC7 format texture, say a normal map, by approximately 20 to 30%. BCPACK approx 50+% size reduction. Depends on how far MS pushed the tech. Definitely more effective than just KRAKEN alone. Some back of the and then someone. What we don't know is how optimized BCPACK is. Does it support all BC modes or just a few? How effective is it versus the crunch library for BC 1.5? Does it support a wide range of quality levels? Can it work in parallel with the HW compression? So some guy said, so if MS does things well, the textures will be less demanding on their architecture. Yes, dramatically less demanding. However, PS5 devs can encode their textures in a special way with rate distortion optimization for RDO, and this combined with KRAKEN should make up for the lack of BCPACK equivalent in hardware. So apart from that, we currently got reports from several devs suggesting Xbox Series X power performance is quite staggering if compared to PS5's power performance, but that doesn't mean that the poor graphics and FPS. But keep in mind that it's the games that matter the most. What are your thoughts on this? Yes, exactly. So what are your thoughts on that and your comments below? Love to hear your take on it all. As both consoles get closer to the mark, and as we're going to get a full hardware analysis and show in May for the Xbox, how hyped you all for that? What games are you playing right now? Please comment, share and sub, and thank you all for watching. Goodbye for now.